5, 4, 2, 3, 1, 7, 1, 0. Hello, everybody. It is I, Claude Bells, come to you for a little show. I've called it Bawlesophesy, because I'm regarding myself as a prophet. Because I make, what is it, the term that Dan uses, verifiable predictions or novel predictions or something like that, and of course it was that it wouldn't take long after ProverbsGuy banned one of their guys from having shows that he would be readmitted to the fold. And of course you can now find his comments in the chat about their shows. So this I just thought I would have a little show, see if there's anything to talk about it. Hello, Ghost. I see you in the chat there. I can't always type while I talk because I'm not a woman. And, apparently men cannot multitask. So I'm told. Well, we'll soon see. Yes, I did. I managed to say hi, Gigi, in the chat. So it's been another crazy week in the world of streaming. So, but we won't get into all that. We're just going to have a happy balls cast, as they say, and hear some Bawlesophesies about things. I'm going to predict the world is not going to come to an end this year. I know it's a very bold prediction, and I'm going to predict the same for 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028. So that pretty well covers all the times that Kent has hinted that very strongly, very likely, the world will end. I don't know if it's called the second coming or not, because I get so confused about whether people are left on earth or there's 1,000 years and there's tribulation and there's post-trib and pre-trib and trib probably. Trib. I think that would be good. So anyway, so that's why I am making a very strong prediction so that when the world doesn't end, I will be recognized as being correct, and Kent and the Proverbs guys will be wrong. So that would be one way. I'm prepared to put my predictions on the line rather than couching them in such vague terms. Captive Death says the trouble with tribbles. Yes, trib trouble. Actually, that's quite good. I think we should actually we could actually do a book, write a book, and if I write a long enough one and fill it with enough drivel, I could be awarded a PhD and call myself Dr. Claude. Yeah, hey, Dr. Claude. So, hello, Mr. Stoney. How are you? Yeah, so I just get I get confused about a lot of these these things. It doesn't sort of exercise my mind. Now, I also have a prediction, of course, that Mr. Stephen has left, the place that he loves so much, Dinosaur Adventureland, but he's recently sent me a message, on a comment on my comments. No, he totally does live there, because why would he leave a place that he loves? What does he say to me? Claude, my fingerprints are all over this place, Claude. I ain't leaving. So there we are. There we go. So Stephen has said that he's still living at Dinosaur Adventureland. The Claude says that he isn't. Let's just see who turns out to be correct and who is lying. I mean, if it is me, I'm very happy to admit it and take suitable penance. But the Claude tries not to misspeak. So hopefully, anyway, it's just an example of how you can't trust some of these things that you hear. Yeah. So, and Mark, must be a change to have the heat taken off you a little bit, Mark. Mr. Stoney, you haven't been beaten up too bad. And Mod said is driving, so she can't stay, but has wished us a good stream. So thank you, not missing Mod. I'm also getting, the Claude is getting so much confusion about the different names that I see on, like not missing Mod or missing Mod, and I never know. See, what if somebody came on and said not Claude Balls, but it wasn't me saying that? So I just get, so that's why I always, when I see it, I think, oh, is not missing Mod, which it is, but maybe not always. So, I get so much confused. I get confused with Dan. Sometimes he comes on as Dan Puzzy, then sometimes he comes on as some missionary type, whatever thing, and then he comes on as someone else. Jim, or whatever, and then he's his son, and it just all these sorts of different, it turns out to be his son or his wife. So I just don't know. Why can't, well, I know the reason why we can't just use one name, and that is because depending on your opinion, you tend to get blocked on some of the shows. The biggest offender when it comes to blocking is ProverbsGuys, and they just they have the trigger finger. I think that's what we call it, a trigger finger for blocking. So, yes. Anyway, I think there's a stream going on now from Proverbs Guy. I think that Tim is running that one, so maybe that's of interest, because we don't seem to be getting a bit of an audience at the moment. Maybe I was too late, or maybe I gave too much notice. You can look at it either way as to whether there would be a show or not. Yes, I don't know. What else could we talk about? I don't want to talk about things that get people too heated, so we're not going to talk about the presidency, but I do note in this particular case that it wasn't the Electoral College, which can mean that the person with the less votes can win. That didn't really come into play, in a sense that I think the winner also won the majority of the popular vote as well. So whether you like the result or not, the result was clear, which is better than having a situation, in my view, as an outsider, where someone wins, but they don't really even win the majority of the votes. But because of the way the college works, they get in. So, yeah. Actually, I just thought of another. If we do if a creationist does a book on tribulation, could it be called the trilobites and tribulations of young earth creationism? Do you think that would, the trilobites instead of the trial? I have to explain my jokes because not everybody gets them, and I haven't used the same jokes over and over again like Kent. So sometimes people cannot understand the Claude when he gets carried away with some of these things. The trilobites and oh no, I am repeating myself. Okay. Well, when I said it was going to be a short show, I sort of meant it, but I didn't quite think it would be as short as it looks as though it's going to be. But anyway, what I might do, just having a look at some recently, I've done quite a number of different shorts. They seem to have had a lot to do with Proverbs, guys. There must be a good, and not so many. There's been a few on Kent, but there's been lots of little comments. So, but of course, they have been out there making ludicrous statements, as per usual. So that's what can happen. I thought it was so funny when Proverbs Guys President Dan, I think it was an argument with, was it with Bruce? Yeah, that was so funny. And I put up that and mute him. Is that my impression of Dan any good? Mute him. Somebody mute him. Can somebody please call Stephen? Can somebody call Stephen? Mark, I know you say where the heck everybody is, but I think perhaps it's been a bit of a tortuous last 12 hours. That's all I can say, because I don't want to get into the gritty nitty of these things. Yes, but that was so funny listening to that. Wait a minute, and then he said, one more time, every time you speak, that'll be one more month. So he's good. 2 months, 3 months, he's good. And then Bruce keeps going. 4. I think he gets up to about 6. And then to next time, you see, it'll be permanent. And then, of course, bang, it's permanent. But I predict that won't last either. So we'll see how I go on my predictions there. Yes, yeah. Mr. Reed is in the audience, and he said, this show is balls. Yes, which it is. Deviant was awesome. He says, she is such a girl boss. Oh, well. I don't know what to... See, this is the problem. Some of these terms I know, and some of them I got no idea what people are talking about. Oh, dear. Anyway, there's a bit of a stream of consciousness. I should have prepared myself a bit better, but that's probably the next. What I might do is go off and make a new clip or two, and see what the latest thing. I think I saw something with the AJ and Kurisu Yamamoto. I think they did some dissection of some of the claims, science things at Kent. So that might be worth a look, everybody, for having a look at that. And I think that would be good too. And we can pass the time that way. Oh, not that I just do a show to pass the time, of course. It's trying to impart the wisdom of the cloud to everybody. Oh, my goodness. But I will say it's very hard to listen to when I listen to Proverbs Guy and Stephen come on and being so sanctimonious about children, etc. And really, I would say, just like he said himself that he hadn't paid child support for all these years, well, that should be the number one thing that he's doing, and not considering himself, but putting his own kids first and making sure that the number one thing he does before his own pleasures is to pay all that support back and look after his kids. After all, he doesn't believe in welfare as far as I can see, if he's a follower of Kent. So, who's left to pick up the pieces? Well, it is welfare, and that's even the Claude would agree that that's wrong, that some men in particular can shirk their responsibilities And, guess what? It's either left to the baby mama or the state to have to put the money in to to uh, to pay for the actions of people who should take their kids more seriously. So that's probably enough sermonizing and moralizing about that. But I do feel strongly about it because I like to think that I can practice what I preach. Because if you don't practice what you preach, you actually usually get caught, and very easily. And people make various claims and blah 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 blah. And nowadays, you can look back and if they're going to be hypocritical or contradictory, it's not too big a job to go back and actually check. Because I had that big argument with Tim, who's said he hadn't joined in on the attack on Big Bad Mama, and then he challenged me to play the thing, and of course I didn't have the technology, but someone else was able to replay it, and oh my goodness, voila, voila, there it is. He's joined in the attack. So occasionally Claude has a little victory here and there. Yeah. Oh, Big Bad Mama, how are you? Good to see you. Have you heard my ranting? Well, it's not really been ranting, it's just a little rave. Big Bad Mama. Okay. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Once again. See if it goes on. Right. See if that encourages anybody to come on. We're talking pretty well. Happy talk. At the moment, happy talk. Happy. Yeah. Happy balls is happy life, as they say. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Mr. Reed is coming on. Hello, how are you?
That's my mantra for life. Absolutely, happy balls, happy life. That's essentially how I get through things. Claude, how you doing, buddy?
I just thought of that. It's but yeah. So it's the simple things in life that actually make us happy. And even from my own life, sometimes and I have reason. I'm not sort of begging for I don't come and make shows begging for money and all this sort of thing. But I go out, I think, oh, I would really like this, and sometimes it'd be a big ticket item, lovely new car, so I go and buy it, and how long it makes me happy for? About an hour. I think, oh, this is just so many. We can't live without shelter, and we can't live without certain physical things, but on top of that, does material things make us happy? And I think, generally speaking, only briefly.
It depends.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So are you familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Yes. I was almost thinking of that.
Right. Yeah,
food and shelter, and some people, of course, don't have that. They don't have that, and I can understand to them why some material. But I'm sort of thinking someone who's comfortable, and I'm comfortable. If I go and buy something that I think, I want this, I can afford it, I'll go and buy it. It could even be regarded as a bit of luxury. It doesn't actually give me the same buzz for that long. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. And it's quite interesting. Yeah,
I think we've got to distinguish between sort of short-term happiness, because sort of this idea of happiness, it's very fleeting. We have ups and downs, and we feel happy for brief periods of time, and then we go back to normal kind of thing. So a sort of sustained happiness is kind of it's kind of something that we can't do. Really, most people, we differentiate that from sort of just contentment in your life, like you being content in the way your life is going and you enjoying things. So I think that material possessions in and of themselves, they're not going to make you happy. But I think if, like, for instance, if you really love taking photos or something and you spend a lot on a camera, I think that can be you know, it's not the camera itself, but it's you know, how you're using it that can lead to real contentment with what you're doing, you know. So I think that there's definitely, you know, money can't buy you happiness. Well, no, but you can sort of, you know, buy things that definitely will help you get there. If you do have certain interests in things,
yeah.
Hey guys, hey mama. Hey mama.
Money can't buy happiness, but it makes misery a lot more fun. I can tell you that.
Yeah, you can't buy happiness, but you can rent it for enough. You know? But yeah, I mean, but the Maslow's hierarchy, one of the things that is the highest on that is self-actualization, and that's generally being the best version of yourself that you can be, like developing yourself into a person that you are satisfied with being, kind of thing, right? That's self-actualization. But you know, it's kind of, that's more what you're talking about when you're talking about, you know, you're happy.
I would say that I'm not fully the person I want to be yet. You know, I think life is a series of experiences, and we live and learn. I mean, that sounds all sort of pretty obvious, but yeah, and I don't know what it is. But all I know is, for me now, if I buy a new big material possession, you know, it doesn't give me the same buzz as it might have, and you know, just an interesting phase of life, I suppose.
Well, I don't think anybody is particular. I don't think sort of self-development is a goal to be reached. It's more one of those things where you just, you know, keep working on it for the entirety of your life. I don't think it's a oh, well, I've reached the best thing kind of thing. I don't think it's like that.
It's just the path itself. I mean, it's being in the moment on wherever you are on that path, and just keep going on your path. But I think the things that money can buy are, you know, if you're using them to be creative, or, you know, I think money can be good in some respects.
Oh, yes, I don't knock it. I just, you know, when I was living in a country where I needed a car, I had a car perfectly adequate, and it was fine. But I wanted this shiny new one, and I bought it, and the pleasure I got from it was very fleeting, you know. So, but I can understand someone who needed a car and didn't have one at all. Then the pleasure from getting that would go on for a long time. But you know, in Singapore here, you don't need a car. In fact, it's a nuisance to have a car, and the public transport is so good, you know. So my world has been a bit upended for the last year or so.
I was just on the Hovind show, Claude. You'll have to check it out. Both you guys.
Has he got one on? Has he? What's it?
Oh, he has these open chats. So I've probably been on five or six of them, I think.
Yeah. And did you go well, or did he?
I thought I got him pretty good. As I always said, geology is his weakest subject. And so we got on the geologic column and Tiktaalik and
TikTok. You got in TikTok. It's more than
he got banned on TikTok.
Yes, I saw from your show. Imagine getting banned from Tiktaalik.
Tiktaalik, yeah. You know what? If there's anyone that should be banned from the evolutionary process, I think it should be Ken Hovind, quite frankly. I will stand by that. I will die on that hill.
God, he was interrupting me so much. And then he finally got a little fed up with me and said, I need to get my own show.
Oh.
Isn't he?
He's inviting atheists to go onto his channel. And I'm nice enough. I'm the only one to go on there, the only atheist to go on there. And he tells me to get my own channel.
Wow. Mixed messages, Ken.
Which means I really got him, actually.
Oh, yeah.
He had a hard time. He shuffled this, you know, he said all the layers are the same age. And he said, if I put this DVD on top of these other DVDs, which one's older? And I said, well, the one that you just put on there is the youngest because you just put it on there. And he's like, you know, he didn't have an answer to that. He goes, oh, they're all the same age, you know.
Like all babies are the same age then, because It's all come from stardust. So,
Well, we're not measuring like the age of the atoms. We're measuring when the rock formed. That's not. Yeah. So I don't know what his point is.
Which I told him, like, we're measuring the layer, the age of the layer. And he goes, well, where'd the top one come from? Outer space? Of course he's going to say that. He always says that. And it's like, no, it's the last one in that area to have been deposited, or a volcanic layer. It's the last one that hasn't eroded away in that particular area. And he just interrupts me at that point. Hey, Dave, good to see you.
Hey, everyone. Hey, that's my only Hovind video, is the layers when I put down the cards.
Oh,
I had enough of that thing, and I resisted making a Hovind video, but that's the one I made, where I put down a card and I turned over an egg timer, and then I put down another card and I turned over an egg timer, and I was like, see, they're at different times. They were laid down at different times.
I told him that tonight and he wasn't having it.
Yeah, that's the one that broke the Hovind back on my channel. And but I never mentioned his name in the video. I just had a Hawaiian shirt on, and it was just a hint.
Oh, no.
Well, you said you would get nauseous if you ever like laid eyes on him or anything. I remember that.
He gives me the creeps. You know how some people just give you the creeps? He gives me the creeps. He does. If I knew nothing about him, he just gives me the creeps. So.
I don't get that until he actually starts talking. Start talking about animals mating or whale penises or something like that. Then he really gives me the creeps when he says all of this stuff. It's really weird.
Is it right? Did you see that? Is it AJ is either doing or done with Kurisu? Something on Kent's latest.
They did one on the barnacles, because Kent mentions barnacle penises probably 30 times in that video.
I saw that earlier.
They're 50 times bigger than the barnacle itself, and he keeps like just mentioning that fact. I think it's like 8 times or something, but they have massive penises, and he makes the point of mentioning it every like 30 seconds.
Well, with the ARC thing, though, I do have a little interest in what's going on at Dino Land there. So
I'll keep you up to date.
Well, I was going to say we need a reason to get you on over the desk, so this just might be the reason.
Okay.
So
I know I do need to get on there.
Yeah. So check your schedule and see what's going on with the ARC thing there, and that'd be a great topic for us to talk about. Because
Big Bad Mama is so nice, he's probably going to get in there and swing a hammer.
It amuses me what he thinks he's going to build for $15,000. I'm really interested in seeing that.
I would love to see Big Bad Mama go to Dinosaur Adventureland. I would pay good money to see that.
Well, I did go there.
Really?
Yeah. Mama, yeah. That's another thing I want to hear about. Tell Mama to come on my channel, Mark.
Okay.
Mama's been putting me off, and I want to hear the story.
I was there in 2021, and Kent and I went on the real tour by ourselves, just him and I. And then Matt posted a picture of us with Kent and I with our arms around each other.
I'll break my rule, and we can talk about Hovind.
Okay. It was interesting. It was very interesting.
I'm sure it was. That's what Grayson said too.
Yeah, Grayson did a great job there debating Kent without notes or anything, and just off the cuff. And he really did well.
Oh, it was a science lesson is what it was. It wasn't even a debate. It was just Kent asking things and Grayson having every single answer for him.
Yeah. Grayson has great recall. He can pull that stuff up just like that. He's real quick on it. He does a great job.
Yes, some people are very good. I think it helps, if you have a very good knowledge of your field, you can pretty well just off the cuff, you can answer most things. But I can't, that's why I can't go and debate Kent on evolution. Can't, no, not a chance. And people would come away saying that he'd won because it's just that I would become, bamboozled, flustered, bamboozled. But, I could debate him on his tax.
Claude, you should go on his open mic and ask him something about the taxes.
Oh, that is a good idea. I wonder if I get past that. Yeah, okay, I'll try.
They'll just put you on. I mean, I go on as creationist crybaby because that's my alter ego.
Oh, they love you. They love you. They absolutely adore you. Like Clint will stop a stream to talk to explicitly you. Yeah, that just shows he loves you so much.
Well, he has a mask of me on his shelf in the church.
He went out and bought a mask. Yeah.
Well, somebody donated him a crybaby mask.
Nice.
Yeah, you got to retract that, Mark. I don't think Hovind has ever bought anything.
Oh, that's true. He doesn't have any money whatsoever.
He is very good at putting out his hand, though, and getting donations and stuff. And
well, my prediction
it is impressive.
That ARC's not going to go anywhere, and he's going to pocket the $15,000 or whatever he raises for it. I can't see him finishing that project, but we'll see. 100-foot
building, like I've been joking, you get about a 2-car garage for $15K, and I don't think that includes the doors.
And he said 2 or 3 stories high. So
yeah, because he even made the joke about a fourth level, but that's another story.
Right.
So is that about a quarter the size? What is he trying to do?
A third.
A third.
And is he using cubits? Has he got cubitometer there?
Gopher wood and cubits, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if it needs to be, someone has to go for wood because otherwise it's not real. It's not, that would give him the one up over Ken Ham, because I think this is what it's all about. I think there's a certain jealousy, shall we say. And Ken Ham's got this big arc, and he wants to have one too.
I mean, 100 feet. I mean, I live in a little ranch house, and it's like he wants to build something bigger than my house for 15K.
I have found a picture of a concept of the arc, if you want to see it, that Kent Hovind's got.
Oh yeah. Let's see it.
There we go.
I am intrigued, I must say, as much as I can be. This is intriguing. Oh,
really?
No, this is just a random picture of some
because I was going to say that's not 100 feet. What is it? 111? I think
that's Noah's Ark on the pier in the Venice Beach, California. It says at the top. It's just I found a dumbass picture and I thought I'd put it up, but
what?
That's funny.
No, actually, that's more what I envision. With.
I think that's more reasonable for his expectations.
Well, he could use it as a cabin for guests and stuff. I mean, I guess if he makes something like that.
Well, what worries me is he just has random people do work on his, let's call it generously theme park, right? So he has people just come and do work. And, making houses is one thing, but making something that's a structure like an art, I'm just not 100% sure that I would trust some random person to build something like this and it would be structurally sound.
I don't trust his cabins either. I was joking around with Mark Stoney the other day about putting studs 32 on center is good enough, and I was just joking. And he goes, "Yeah, there's some over there. They're 32 on center." He just skips every other stud. So. Don't lean against the walls in any of Hovind's cabins. There, it just might fall over.
Well, and there's cameras. There used to be cameras set up in the cabins that I know when Father Charles visited there, he found 2 cameras in his cabin. And Steve Lynn had this set up. I don't know if you guys know who Steve Lynn was, but he was the crooked tech guy that stole money from Hovind, but he had a whole camera system set up in those cabins. Hi, Deviant.
Hi.
That's not creepy at all.
No, not at all. Well, and then when they finally kicked him, or he got arrested, right, Claude, for meth and
Yeah.
stealing a truck.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yes. Yes.
And then they went in his house that he was renting from Cindy Lincoln.
Yes.
Then
That's
you-
right.
And they found a room full of S&M gear, all the camera stuff,
Recording.
computers,
Yeah.
dildos, whatever you want to think about. That's
Who
what he
is
had
this?
in that place. Steve Lynn, the former tech guy.
Oh, well, didn't he steal his money? Like he
Yeah.
stole all his
Yeah.
money from him, kind of thing.
He's had a bad run with tech guys taking money. Steve was the original tech guy, and he was always a bit of a brute. And he fell out with neither Cindy nor not Sandra. Who was
Mary.
before Mary?
Mary Toko, yeah.
Toko. They sort of saw what was going on, and they had different drug testing regimes, but which Steve administered. I didn't have to take
Steve
himself.
Lynn never took the drug
Yeah.
test. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then he did that famous midnight visit where he was in this Jeep and he drove to Dinosaur Land and he put it up, and it was just terrible. He was slurring his words. He'd been driving a vehicle, and Hovind obviously made him take it down. But some people got some clips from
It was
that.
so weird.
And
He
the
actually
Jeep-
walked into Hovind's house and filmed
Yeah.
inside his house while Hovind was asleep.
Yeah.
Oof.
And he
Creepy.
said, "Oh, this is the hot tub." That's how we first got to find out about the hot tub. Because Kent was saying, don't take hot showers. The electric bill is huge here. Blah, 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 blah. And then, lo and behold, we find he has his personal hot tub because of his bad back. So it was quite revealing.
He offered to baptize me in that same hot tub,
Ooh.
and I turned him
Ugh.
down.
That's how you get the STD, man.
Right.
So that was funny. Yeah.
Hey, Deviant, I watched the show, and you were amazing. Especially as you pointed out, the English isn't your first language. That's
Oh God,
incredible.
Deviant, I'm sorry you went through that.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. Like the interruptions were pretty overwhelming.
Bolin was just horrible. Dan is
Oh.
just an idiot. But Stephen
I
Bolin
didn't-
actually said some horrible things about Deviant.
I didn't see that part. I only
yeah,
saw
watch it.
I
Watch
didn't
it
watch all
again.
of it. Okay, well,
Right,
I only got a
Deviant?
snippet from
That's-
it.
Yeah, that was today.
That was today, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was after Missing Mod show. That was the
Yeah.
beginning of Gangster Ghost show.
or my last night kind of thing, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was because I only saw the thing on Missing Mods because I was just grabbing for what I was doing, kind of thing.
Yeah, this
So-
was at the beginning of Gangster Ghost show. Steven and Dan came on, the
Yeah.
Proverbs guys. And of course they railed on the atheists and from the, us basically from the Missing Mod show. And Deviant went on there and Stephen Bolin was just rude, condescending, just a real prick.
Mm.
Yeah, and he started to accuse me of all sorts of things based on absolutely nothing.
Right.
And he talked about a stupid language, Swedish. So here's
Yeah.
a guy who can barely speak one language, right? Because I do admire the gift of people who can speak in multiple languages.
Yeah.
So here's a guy who can barely speak one language, calling your language stupid.
Well,
Yeah,
I
gu-
mean, Deviant's English is way better than my Swedish.
Oh,
I'll tell you that right.
It's better than my English.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I had to go through that. That sucks. Like seriously. Rude. I
Yeah.
saw your video just now. Big Bad Mama's got Hoban banned from TikTok. Oh, that's hilarious.
What? I'm not really surprised, but I'm also kind
Hey,
of surprised.
But it's not his fault. It's not,
It's not his fault. Yeah.
No, of course not.
And he says the TikTokers need to call him
course
up,
it
you
is.
know, as if they're like these.
I gotta call him. Yeah.
There's a
No,
group.
yeah, they absolutely care. Yeah.
The TikTok.
No, I'm sure they'll get on the.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think he knows
Can I
how
repeat
TikTok
my
works. No,
TikTok joke again.
I'm sure that the Chinese company is going to be right on the phone to some random guy in Alabama trying to explain to him why his racist, sexist, and generally misinformation views are being kicked off their platform. No, I'm sure that's going to happen. Wow, I sound like Aiden. That's an incredible amount of sarcasm. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop right now.
Hey, Claude, you share the picture. I found a picture of Hoven's arc design here. That's my
Look at
that's
that
my
window.
That's
vision
even
right
better
there.
than the one I found. Yeah, no, that's accurate.
That's very cool.
That's probably safer than his will be. That's
Yeah,
good.
the pictures he showed in his we're building an ark. That looked, I mean, it looked like some drunk toddler had thrown a bunch of planks on the ground.
It's just a bunch of poles sticking out of the ground.
Yeah, and I mean the ground wasn't even what's it called when
Leveled.
you do leveled.
They
And
just stuck it on a hill.
There was no grading. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It looks just stuck some poles in your backyard. No, my backyard looks more like a construction zone right now from putting up a fence than those photos looked like.
Are you sure you're not building an ark?
I bet he is. I bet you are. It's going to be the captive ark.
Everyone's got to have an ark.
I guess I could put one in my pond. I've got kind of a mythology theme with my
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
mermaid and my Loch Ness monster and my Bigfoot and everything around the pond.
No, it needs to go in your science section. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Science center.
There's a difference
Absolutely.
between mythology and science, you know.
I do have a bathtub toy arc for a video, but I haven't had the chance to make the video because I had some problems this summer, so things got put off. But I do have some props. So when I get busy, I do have some props. So.
But back to Stephen, the funny thing, well, not funny thing, but the strange thing is that as soon as he feels he wants to attack someone, it doesn't matter the topic. He just goes in, so you're a terrible Egyptologist, you haven't only been there once anyway, and blah, blah, blah. And he just throws all these random attack things at you, you know, which I think is pretty bad.
Well, right. He accused Deviant of being a predator, a child predator. And here's a guy that is $2 million behind on his child support, didn't pay child support for years for his multiple children by multiple wives, criticizing anybody about anything.
And he even said, he asked me, how many times have you been in Egypt? And I said once, which is true. And he comes on with, oh, so you lied to Achilles. Because me and Achilles talked about Achilles having worked in Cairo with some computer stuff back in the day. And we kind of found common ground in how weird it feels because of the Nile flowing from south to north, and it makes you all turned around. It's a really trippy thing, and we kind of talked about that and laughed about it and had a nice conversation. And I don't think that Achilles from that got that I hadn't been there, because we specifically talked about I had been to Egypt, but I had not been in Cairo. I had been further south in Luxor and down to Aswan. But of course, he wouldn't even listen to me when I tried to explain how it actually was. So I just went to Swedish.
Right, I saw that. I mean, he wanted you to say that you hadn't been to Egypt, I think.
Yeah.
And when you said that you had been there, he was flummoxed.
Yeah. And I mean, you don't have to go to Egypt to become an Egyptologist.
Right.
It's not in the curriculum.
I would be amazed if it was.
Yeah. No, so he was just as lovely as always. I think he's a bit butthurt because I have a feeling he's actually seen mine and Aiden's picking part of his.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he hates me either way, but
So
Well,
Aiden and Deviant ripped apart his Bolin was claiming that Joseph from the Bible was Imhotep.
Yeah.
And
what?
Yes.
Yes.
And so it was this video, and I think there were multiple videos. Weren't there 3 videos?
Yeah, there were 3 or 4.
Deviant and Aiden methodically dismantled this thing, and yeah, you're probably right. He's upset about that. Where did Claude go?
Well, I do know that I was hassling him in the chat of
Claude was raptured. We were left behind.
Missing Mod's show, I was giving him crap because blessed be he was coming at me saying, you know, you've forgotten about God, and you know this kind. You know what blessed be he does.
Yeah.
You know, just the same gaslighting. Well, you've forgotten and stuff, and so I said to blessed be he, like, you know, God's just in your imagination. That's why you don't hear him. You just have to pretend. So I was just gaslighting her back because I was kind of annoyed with the whole thing. And then he started going, oh, you've got the best imagination. You imagine billions of years. So I said something along the lines of, you know, you've got a talking snake and a magic fruit in your fairy tale kind of thing. So I was just basically hassling him. And then he said something else and he made me annoyed. So I said that, what's your talking donkey's name? Achilles, isn't it? And I thought that was, I don't think he found it as funny as I did.
Well, you know, he was homeschooled on Hovind DVDs.
Ooh, is that what causes that?
And he celebrated Halloween once, and guess what his costume was for that one year he celebrated Halloween?
Jesus.
Ken Hovind. He dressed up as Ken Hovind.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Oh, that's just sad.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, that's actually sad.
But you know, he really kicked Egyptological ASS with his video that was based on just nonsense. So I'm really looking forward to their new video that's going to be on Moses, and proving that Moses was actually Imhotep III.
Oh my God.
Is not an individual that exists in Egyptian history at all.
Or in history.
Yeah.
Period.
Exactly.
Moses was not a person.
Moses wasn't a real person, and Imhotep lived once, and he was not a pharaoh.
Who was in Imhotep III?
No one.
Yeah.
Oh,
there is no Imhotep the First. There is Imhotep. He was deified. He was the architect to Djoser's step pyramid, and he's the only one. But somehow they have Imhotep II and Imhotep III. So I'm super stoked to find out which pharaoh they have given a completely new name based on not even the Bible. It's based on absolutely nothing.
Well, I mean, they might have been watching The Mummy, and
That's what I was thinking.
That's probably right.
I was starting to wonder that too, and then I thought, well, come on, they can't be that.
Oh, they can be that stupid.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
they
yeah.
absolutely can. Stephen Boland can be that stupid. That's very possible.
Creationists repeat Jurassic Park all the time as their source for dinosaur information. So why not? Why not?
And the Flintstones.
Yabba dabba do.
What happened to
That's probably the most popular comment that I've made online with creationists is yabba dabba do.
Oh, yeah. It's good.
That was a documentary, don't you know, Dave? It was a documentary.
That's my misunderstanding, I guess. You'd think maybe like Johnny Quest or something would be more, But
I'm a little worried about Claude.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, was he raptured?
Are we supposed to
I don't know. We're supposed to leave or something.
Yeah, I feel a bit uncomfortable being here. It's like, well, the owner of the channel isn't here. I feel like I've just walked into someone's house and they've gone out, and I'm like, should I make myself a coffee or hang out on the couch or something? I feel a bit
Maybe
odd.
he can't get back in.
No.
Did he drop a
he
message or
should be able
anything?
Does anyone have him on Discord or something?
I just have I just contact him with email, so I really doubt he would check that.
I mean,
I say we just give him a little time, but it has been a while.
Yeah, Aiden said the Flintstones cigarette commercial. Yeah, I believe that was for Winston's. That's that runs around the YouTubes. You can find that commercial.
Oh, Aiden, I'm sorry, you can't come in because
we have no power over that, Aiden.
We have no power. We're basically locked inside Claude's basement.
Mm-hmm.
We probably can't even leave if we tried.
No.
Yeah, we could definitely leave. Yeah, no.
He's locked the doors out of the interwebs.
Mark, your background's kicking ass, I have to say.
I've worked hard on it. I've rearranged my entire office, and it was really stressful. And it still feels weird because I'm facing the opposite direction that I've faced for the last year or so. So it feels kind of odd and weird, but I like it. I can do different backgrounds too. I just got a whole bunch of them. I can definitely change them up if you would like.
Yeah, let's check it out. I mean, it's not as good as Deviant's boobs, but
What do you mean Deviant's boobs? What did I miss? That's terrible.
Look at it.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I mean, is that Deviant's boobs? I thought that was Bast's boobs. Is Deviant Bast?
They're one of the same.
One of the same.
Wow.
She runs the kitty cat cult.
Yes.
Yes. Fair enough. I all hail Bast.
Sorry,
there
folks.
we go.
Hey, Claude.
Yeah, my internet clapped out, so it's interesting to know that you were able to keep going without me.
Oh,
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
you are.
Totally dropped out, and I was very sorry about that. But I was thinking, what the hell? The show could be in. You could be doing anything, And
we were talking about you the whole time, Claude.
I thought so,
Yep.
But
Your
that's what
toilet's
happened.
clogged, Claude. I'm really sorry.
What it greatly shows is that if I lose control of my internet, the show keeps going, and you could be doing anything, any form of terrible thing could be happening.
You should have seen the things we did.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question for Deviant real quick.
Yeah.
I heard something earlier that the 10 plagues on Egypt were a way of Yahweh shooting down all the other gods. That each plague was in response to a god. Have you heard that before?
I have heard it.
Like darkness was in response to, showing the power over Ra. and stuff like that. But I didn't.
Yeah,
I wasn't aware of like a locust god or a
no.
frog god or anything.
Well, I mean, there are gods. The primordial gods are sometimes portrayed as not frogs. What's the word for before they become frogs?
Tadpoles.
Tadpoles. Yes, but it's not
specific though to the plagues, but maybe some of them.
No, I mean, let's see. The firstborn dying. There's no such.
There's no such god, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
And the Nile turning to blood. Well, the Nile was a god, and there were a god or several gods that are connected to the Nile, but it doesn't make sense in the way of it turning to blood. And the locust, there is nothing like that. So I've heard it as well, but
it doesn't hold up though.
No.
Okay.
No.
I appreciate it. I didn't think so either, because I was thinking, the two examples they used were a water god and Ra by making it dark. But then I was thinking too, well, wait a minute, firstborn, locusts, frogs. That didn't sound right. So I think he was just picking those and making up a story. So, okay.
Yeah. I think it's someone, whoever came up with that idea is someone who has kind of a mixed bag of their understanding of ancient Egyptian mythology. I would guess things that are taken from like more modern esoteric new age ideas, like for instance that the Ankh symbol that stands for life is a uterus.
Okay.
Which is completely false, because it's actually a stylized strap to a sandal. And we know that because when you write the word for sandal strap, that is the Ankh symbol with a stroke after it, which shows that the symbol is the word. And it would be very weird if the pharaoh trampled on the 9 bows of Egypt, which is the 9 traditional kind of semi mythological enemies of Egypt, with his uterus.
Well, I think that it's probably connected to where the story of the Pharaoh, it says that sort of Moses and the priests of the Pharaoh had like a god off. They both turned sticks into snakes and stuff like that. But that story is basically, none of it is true. Like the Canaanites were never slaves in Egypt. Like that just didn't happen.
Right.
No.
And there's no evidence of them crossing the Sinai. And unless you're Ron Wyatt.
Hello.
Hi.
That guy that does accents mocking people instead of caricature.
I didn't know
Well, he's
that
here
I
to
was
mock me.
under
That's what he said.
contract today. I'm sorry, Mr. Clad. I'm very sorry about this. No, but Deviant, look, I'm here to correct you about something.
Yes.
in relation to
Oh, God.
because I mean, sure, you went to school and you read some fancy schmancy textbooks written by some people in some suits that were in some library somewhere, probably. But I think as somebody that's played not one but several ancient Egyptian themed slot machines, I think I know a thing or two more about it. I'm sorry to say.
Egyptologists are frauds.
Several.
Egyptologists
No,
are
Mark.
frauds.
Several ancient Egyptian themed
Oh,
slot
sorry.
machines.
Yeah,
Okay.
several.
You had the little what's like the little cross thingy with the little hoop on it, and you got like the triangle thing. Like these are all symbols that were represented in this game. So I think I know a thing or two more about this than Deviant. And that being said, Deviant, in all seriousness, Deviant was too charitable to the Proverbs guys earlier in her representation of what they said. Because Deviant called this fake made-up person Imhotep III. And they didn't say that. They didn't follow even the basic naming conventions for royalty. They called him Imhotep III, which I find quite interesting. You know,
That
the
is
Imhotep trilogy is something that I haven't necessarily caught up with yet, but thankfully they will be reviewing that very soon, and I appreciate that. I'm sure Imhotep 3 will be about as good as the Mummy 3.
I wonder who's going to be Imhotep. Is it?
I don't know. I wish I had the answer to that, Deviant. I really do. I wish I had a little crystal ball that I could peer into and know what they're talking about. But intuition requires that you like have a basic understanding of what that other person is thinking. And they're just so off the fucking wall as far as their understanding of Egypt that you really don't even have a solid basis of understanding to base like their opinion on this on.
No, I mean, my brain hasn't. First, I was sick, and my brain got to complete mush from that. And then I started to feel better, and we did these reviews. And at the end of it, I was like, well, thank you. Now I don't have a brain at all. And now they're going to do another one about Imhotep 3.
You were about to do the actual naming convention again, but then you had to stop yourself.
My mouth do not want to say those words.
It just hurts. I know.
Yes.
It feels dirty. It really does.
It does.
It's like if some guy came in here and said that like he knew more than an actual Egyptologist. Like what an asshole, right?
Right?
They got another one, Which Flood Story Holds Water, another show.
Oh my God.
Dave, you might be interested in that one.
It's actually a half clever title, so they couldn't have come up with that. They definitely cribbed that from somewhere else.
I'm stuck on, we have core samples from all around the world that do not show one environment. So it's settled. It's done. There's nothing to discuss beyond that unless you start showing me some core samples that differ.
But Dave, what about the magnetic ice, Dave? Have you heard about the magnetic ice? It was all around the world.
I heard about the ice balls that hit the earth and split off and went to the poles and froze the mammoths while they were standing. Yeah, without understanding that.
With the grass in their stomach still. Or in their mouth or something.
That would actually be a whole lot of heat created. It doesn't make a North and South Pole, but, you know, when Fountains of the Deep can blast rockets at escape velocity so far out that they come back and hit the moon, I mean, I've...
and made the rings of Saturn, Hovind said one time.
Yeah.
Really? That just gets better and better.
Yes.
Yeah. I go way back on, those are some of the early Thunderfoot videos. He covered Hovind with, it's not like they're floating like lilies in a pond. And Thunderfoot's like, actually it is.
Early Thunderfoot and like people in his community were like peak YouTube. It really was. It was some great. He had some of the best content for the whole Great Debate era. I really did like his early content. Like the Why People Laugh at Creationist series was so fantastic.
He got his big plaque last year for 1 million subs.
Ooh.
You know, this captive desk guy over here is mocking God, saying that the craters on the moon were like formed by things not by the fountains of the deep. Look, captive desk, the only thing that's going to be captive is your soul. Did you know that you're going to die one day, captive desk? Did you know that?
Yeah, see, that's why I could never talk to Hovind. I'd end up telling him the same thing I told Jim Bob. fuck off. I just had enough. You know, last
time I was on Jim Bob, I was almost ready to leave, and I was in the process of leaving, and Andrew Wilson showed up. Do you know who that is?
I was watching.
That's that
when you
jackass that dated Matt Dillahunty. And
the wild thing is, he was back on Modern Day Debate the other day after being kicked off for absolutely
today, wasn't it?
Yeah, like James kicked him off because he was supposed to have a serious debate, and he basically just acted like an idiot in the debate and went on about, you know, trans issues in the debate on God, basically. You know, I don't know why you would trust that man.
Right?
Why would you trust him? He's already stabbed you in the back once. Why would you trust the guy?
I was almost in the position of having to debate him and Jim Bob at the same time. Which fortunately I was in the process of leaving, and I was just out of there. But Andrew Wilson's going, "Come on back, Big Bad Mama. Come back here. Come back here." I'm glad I didn't go back. I don't like that Andrew Wilson guy. He's just a jack.
No, he's awful. I like you too, Stephanie.
Oh, Maud's out there.
Yeah,
Stephanie's
in the
chat.
Hi, Maud.
He's been out there for a while.
I don't.
I think she was talking to me. She said I sound like a food critic. I was like, but that's one thing I do, or I am, as a food critic. I like cooking, and we've been discussing how many times we've gone out to eat and been disappointed because, you know, you want to have a good meal, you want to spend the money, you know, have a good time, and it's just disappointing. There's just not a lot of places where you were just impressed anymore. And,
Dave, with your voice, you could do anything you wanted. You have just a wonderful voice.
Thank you. I've been getting a lot of compliments on my voice since I've been doing videos, and I do appreciate it.
You could be a voice actor. You know, I'm a hand actor. People, you know, my hand is so beautiful that I quite often get, you know, asked to take
You're
roles.
a hand model?
Yeah, hand model. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. You know, but a captive could be a voice model, I think. Yeah.
Well, when I redid my intro, instead of just having text, I put my voice in there because,
mind you,
that's my strong selling point, I guess. So I put it in there.
In the days when Big Bad Mama was doing those sort of longer videos where he'd say how you, and starring Stephen Andrew as such and such.
Stephen Bolin as Proverbs Guy.
Yeah,
also
I remember that.
One day only. Don't miss it.
I was away from my mic. Oh my gosh, I missed the best part of the whole show.
With Stephen Bolin as Proverbs Guy.
You need to bring it back. You really do.
I love it.
You know how much work those videos were? I mean, I'll try to make another one, but God, those took me hours to make. And plus, I had to watch all that crap to.
You had to watch it.
I worry about the amount of Hovind you watch, quite frankly. I worry about your mental state.
And I was just on his show tonight. I mean, you should be really worried.
And when you make a video, you watch it over and over and over. Every time you edit and you watch it again, and you fix something and you watch it again, and you watch it, and then by the time you're done, you're like you know it by heart, and it just haunts you when you're sleeping.
And I'm going in and cutting little bits out so that the viewer doesn't have to experience like pauses and ums. And so I'm going in there and slicing these things up. It is like, it's some work. Even the shorts take time.
I remember
It does.
You were telling me about the amount of work what was that? The Bolin's bullying blows up in his face, or one of those videos. You're telling me like how much work it was on like the editing side of things, getting all like the audio.
I had to go into everybody's voice and drop them down into a separate timeline because they were all at different levels, and then I had to like adjust all the levels down, so it had like 1 million cuts in the video. It was.
And it turned out really well.
Like the time well spent.
Really well.
And the joke
was good, but was it worth it?
And the joke is, yeah, you put all that time, and I spent a couple days editing. I'd put all this work and study, and yeah, you go back in, you fine tune it, you cut the audio really good, so there's none of the clicks or anything in there, and it all beautiful, and then nobody watches it.
Right, right.
I throw together a short. 500 some views I threw together in 15 minutes.
And you never know what's going to hit and what's not. I mean, it's all just a crapshoot. Though I find if Hoven's saying something like controversial in the video itself, YouTube somehow knows it and it doesn't put it out for mass consumption. Or the algorithm, I guess, or whatever.
Well, like it transcribes all of that stuff automatically. Like YouTube has transcriptions of all that stuff. So.
Yep.
Yeah, my last video, I was up till like 5:30 in the morning finishing it up because I wasn't going to go another day without it being done.
What's this missing mod saying? BBM made me and Steven say that smoking weed as a Christian is cool.
What? Put the comment up.
What? Yes, you say that smoking weed as a Christian is cool.
Well, that's true. I mean,
Big Bad Mama.
I don't remember saying that.
Big Bad Mama, have you or have you not asked Missing Mod to pass the duchy on the left-hand side? Has that happened?
I don't remember ever having that conversation with her.
That's what differs between an atheist doing it and a Christian. It's which hand you passes.
Right.
Well, it's the right hand that receiveth. I think that's in the Bible too. So, it all comes around.
Yeah, but all of that comes down to poo.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Some cultures, it's rude to shake hands with the other hand, right?
Yeah.
That's the hand. Yeah.
Yeah, do the OK symbol in Tunisia is like, I'm going to kill you or something like that. Like, there's a few different things that are, no-goes.
Well, now it's the Proud Boys symbol, isn't it? In the United States is the OK symbol.
Down low or something, yeah.
Oh, there's a reason for that. I can't remember that there is a reason for it, kind of thing.
Which is a shame. I mean, that was like, we grew up on the OK symbol.
It's the circle game.
Yeah, Mark talked about that. Mark Stoney.
Right.
I mean, we still did it when we were in freaking Air Cadets. It's not something that really has ever left.
Air Cadets?
Yes, the 903 Royal Canadian Air Cadets. I was a sergeant in the Royal Canadian Air Cadets.
Wow.
Did you fly?
I took part in flights, but I was never the pilot. I was just like there to help assist with a couple of things. I never qualified to actually be a pilot, but that's primarily because I'm blind in my left eye.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking if maybe the condition had worsened and yeah.
Are you saying that all that stood between an air invasion of Canada was you, Aiden?
Well, I was like I would have been like, kind of like the Japanese air policy, like circa 1945 at that point. You can look into a couple of history books to find out what that's all about.
You only get enough gas to go one way.
That's right. That's right. It's crazy that you only find out about that once they have you on the tarmac. Isn't that crazy?
Hey, my fuel tank's not reading full. You be okay.
Oh, that's
Launch,
good. I'm sorry we
launch.
can't hear you over the sound of the plane. You're gonna be a hero, though.
So the BBM missing mod is put up when the interview was.
I don't remember that. I mean, I remember talking
Well,
about Ron
no
Wyatt.
wonder you were smoking.
I guess.
That memory loss.
Right.
You need a buzz to talk about Ron Wyatt. He's
Oh goodness.
he's special.
Oh, no.
He was special, I should say.
Have you talked to him?
It was funny when Christian came on to mine and Deviant show when we were covering Ron Wyatt, and he was like, "Oh well, I don't really know whether or not Ron Wyatt is like a charlatan or not. I'm not quite sure about that. I think the jury's kind of out on that." And we're like, "No, he's a charlatan though. Like, he's a fraud."
I know. I was surprised he didn't take some sort of stand on that. I mean, I'm sure he knows about him.
When Joe and I did the video, the stuff that I found basically that he was running around with a side chick on a first class vacation, claiming the whole time he needed money for all his archaeology stuff. That's what it really came down to. He did next to nothing other than that little hole thing he was digging around in. Other than that, he did next to nothing. I mean, running the scan thing over the supposed Noah's Ark thing and stuff was all show for the cameras. But
he used
otherwise,
some sort of weird machine that nobody had. It just was a non-existent magna. I don't know what he called it, but he ran some sort of machine supposedly over the rock formation, and then
it was the wrong. Yeah, it was the wrong type of penetrating radar or something like that. It was. Yeah, but all the other things, though, that he supposedly found, there's nothing about it. It's just, oh, yeah, he found this, he found that, he found this. And it seemed the whole time he was saying he was staying in dive hotels and stuff, but the real story was that he was often seen with somebody who was not Mrs. Wyatt. And, yeah, he was staying first class. And it was just a big vacation. A couple things for the cameras, and the rest was just all a grift. That's my take on it from the stories they were saying about him. So
how raunchy, yes.
Yep.
Did you see these two guys that
he did it all for the nookie?
Did you see these three guys on Hoven's show that were going to the Congo to look for Mokola or whatever? They were raising money, and then they claimed that they went there.
They complained.
We covered it on AJ's show. Aiden and I with AJ, we covered it. But they claimed they went to the Congo and looked for this creature, and it was the most hilarious thing because you could tell that they never set foot there, but they raised $3,000 or something.
They sounded in their story like they were genuinely shocked over the fact that there were people living on the Congo River. They were like, and then we went down the river and there was like people living in those village type things. Just baffled over the fact
that John Pendleton just before he died was working on a thing to go to Mexico to capture a pterodactyl. And
nice.
Logic got a hold of him and said he would help him out because the GoFundMe wasn't doing so good, And Logic said, "Look, I'll put up money if I can go, And then sadly, he passed away. So no pterodactyl. But he said, well, he was in Mexico. You guys remember who John Pendleton was? The chemist, mid-husband, always had the white coat on. Real nice guy, dark hair.
He's not the one who did the Inca stones.
Probably. He was
not Inca stones.
He was famous for saying, "I'm a chemist, mid-husband, mechanic." Something like that in his intro. Yeah, he mid-husband. He didn't understand that you're a midwife, even if you're a male. But
Yeah.
He was on Carl Ball's show a lot of but yeah, he was in Mexico anyway, and he said he knew a lot of people that said, the pterodactyls are always taking their chickens or whatever. So they were going to set up traps and all this, and he had it all planned out. And Logic kind of noticed that the GoFundMe only had like $50 in it or something, whatever. So he said, "Look, I'll kick money if I can go." Right? It was a sincere offer. But yeah, he passed away. That's how I found out he passed away, because Logic announced that he had passed away.
Oh,
Perhaps
I
he
see.
had some of those vitamins by Kent's Vitamin.
Oh my
God.
god.
Oh, yeah, he's died too. Yeah.
Too soon, Claude. Too soon. I'm joking.
Bill Sardi or the other guy?
Yes, Bill Sardi. Yes,
Bill Sardi.
Bill, yeah. Then there's a new one now, but I haven't heard from him later, so perhaps he hasn't been paying the commission.
If you don't know who John Pendleton is, yeah, go to Logic's channel. Back in the day, he did a lot of videos on it.
Does anybody remember Ian Juby? Ian Juby?
I've heard the name.
Ian, and then Juby, I think this is, and he won a golden crocodile. I think he was either nominated or won the golden crocodile. That was great. That series. He still does them, Pothola.
Yeah, who recently won the Golden Crocodile? Was just awarded.
Sideshow Bob won.
Oh, okay.
That guy he called Sideshow Bob because of his hair. He won it this year. I don't remember the guy's actual name, but he was calling him Sideshow Bob because he had a big old head full of curly hair. So.
But Sideshow Bob, what about that tattoo on your stomach that says "Die Bart, die"? Oh no, that's just German. It means the Bart, the.
Yeah, October third week in October or something like that is when he announces the crocodile. The nominations are like around the first of the month.
He's a great guy. I love it, and he does a lot of work, doesn't he? He does a lot of work for his video, to do his stuff. He's what a great
top
guy.
Notch, top notch stuff. Yeah,
he's almost in the category of Big Bad Mama, almost.
Almost.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to take off. I'm going to go do something useful.
Right.
Wow.
Come on.
I've just got stuff to do. That's all. I just got stuff to do.
Good seeing you.
Could have said that.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
highly
I didn't mean it like that.
This has been a
Not calling
complete
the
waste of
price
my
of damp
time.
or
I'm out of here.
anything, you know.
Well, I mean, I've got videos.
You're
to
all a
edit
waste
and
of my
stuff to
time.
do.
But let's be honest, he shows are a bit crazy.
Good seeing you, Mark.
Yeah, it's
Take
good
care.
seeing you. I got your message, Aiden. I'll have to think about it. It's okay. I'll get back to you on that as well. All right.
Oh yeah, no, all in your own time, Mark.
All right. Cheers. Thank you. See
Take care.
everyone.
All right, Mark. Bye
Take
bye.
care, Mark.
We'll wrap it up in about 5 minutes anyway, if that's all right. Because,
Sounds
the
good.
Claude's here for a good time, not a long time. And I don't know how some of these streams have gone for so long. Oh my God. When you listen, you just like, oh, I've missed that one. I'll go and listen. And you see a 5-hour show.
Yeah.
What
I did one a couple weeks ago on Saturday. We had such a good time. It just went on and on.
Yes, yeah.
Tomorrow, tomorrow
Sorry,
at
go
5 Eastern, if y'all aren't doing anything, stop by Saturday night at the Atheists on my channel.
Cool.
5 Eastern. Okay.
Something I find funny from the Proverbs guys is that they're always like, oh, well, we shouldn't do the show for more than 2 hours because if we do it for more than 2 hours, nobody will listen. And it's like,
Baloney.
you know,
Baloney.
the more time you have on your video, the more watch time that you have on your video, that's what matters. The engagement in terms of watch time. Like, that's the YouTube metagame.
Right.
Is getting people to watch stuff as consistently and as long as possible. It's just nobody cares about you.
Well, like Mama said, you never know what's going to hit. Yeah, I've had people tell me, you should have cut that down, this and that, and everything else. It could have been a shorter video, and it got more views than other videos. And then doing these live streams, we go hours and hours and hours, and I'm getting 300, 400, 500, almost 600 views on one of them.
Oh.
So you just don't know, it's, I don't know. So I'm enjoying doing the live streams. So
How's your missing mod video doing?
3150 or something like that.
Wow.
It keeps every once in a while. It ticks up a couple more.
Wow.
Are you exposing her for
The
being
dog man
missing?
interview.
I loved that interview with Stephanie. It was such a great interview, and it's my best video. And
Cool.
yeah, so
Right, Stephanie, I'm going to interview you next.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a great interview. She was and I asked her all the tough questions, and she answered them really well. It was a great interview. So,
Cool.
popular video.
My darling, missing mud.
Well, and I found out dogmen are in a lot more. It primarily was a Michigan thing, okay, in the state of Michigan here in the United States. But apparently they're in a lot more places. I've heard them all the way into Texas, and Stephanie's in Florida, so I may have to revisit it. There's a lot of dogmen stories out there. So the things you learn.
Mm. Oh, well, nice to talk to everybody. And the Claude is going to cut it off here because a short Claude is a good Claude. And, your show tomorrow night, Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. And
If we're doing it every Saturday. So trying to get a regular thing going. So stop by. We try to have a good time, have some laughs. So.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, folks, it is the Claude signing off on yet another show that looked as though it was going to be a disaster to begin with, and then it was. Everybody came on, and then I got cut off from my own show. I should go look back and see what happened then.
Well, that is just the internet busting your balls.
Yes, so I suspect the FBI was perhaps monitoring me. Anyway, so it did actually turn out okay in the end. It's quite funny how things can happen that way.
Yes.
Thank you, folks. And it is the Claude saying au revoir and see you again.
Take
Bye-bye.
care, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.